I want to introduce myself in case I haven't met all of you before. I see all the familiar faces, but my name is Liza Eriks, and I have been with HPS for 11 years. I've been the director over our Southeast region for the last 10 years, so that's from Kentucky down to Florida and everything in between. So Preston is moving on to a new role with HPS, and because I live here in the state and everything is so neatly wrapped up with the co-ops, they've asked me to take over versus bringing in somebody new that wouldn't know like the background and be a little green or whatever. We wanted to kind of give you that highest level of service that we could. So I'm going to be that front person with the co-ops. And also, if any of you individually have any questions, I'll be your point of contact. I have some business cards over here that I'll pass out to make sure that you all have my contact information. But I'd love to go around the room and just meet you all individually. I know Susan, but I don't know that I can connect all of you with your districts. So could we start with you? Maybe
yes,
tell me.
Delpac, Floyd County.
Okay, great to meet you.
Tabitha Napier, Breathitt County.
Okay, and have you guys been with your districts for quite a while? Okay, great. And Susan?
Susan Baker, Chieftain, 12 years.
12 years, all right.
So,
I'm Lisa Morgan. I'm with the Leslie County School System.
Okay,
Rachel Miller, Hazard Independent Schools.
all right, great to meet you.
Darian Creech, Lee County Schools.
Lee County,
Brandy Brown, Letcher County.
Letcher County, okay. Awesome, great to meet you all, and thanks for having me here today. One of the things I wanted to go over with you is our item add process. Sally went through she teed up that you should, if there's things you want to add to the HPS bid, or that they already stock, or things that you have seen at the food show or a broker has shown you and you have a lot of energy around it and you want to menu it, this is the season for making those requests. And we have streamlined that to an online process now, and that way it's not just your co-op that you can collaborate with and combine volume with, but you can see what all the schools in Kentucky, or actually all the schools pulling out of the DC and Shepherdsville, have requested in case you want to add cases on to their request. So I was going to go through a demonstration of that for you, but before we do that, I have a handout that will help walk you all through. If you could pass those down on that side and those on that side. I have some extras, and anybody who might be watching us on the recorded version, I can email you the electronic version of this, and I would just, I'll probably forward that to you, Susan, as a follow-up, and if you wanted to even post it on if there's a way to do that, we can get that out there. So the basics of this is that HPSCAT is a tool that we have had for quite a number of years that will help you manage your usage on the HPS bid and monitor what you're buying by category, by vendor. You can slice it and analyze it, whether you're purchasing on program, off program, or branded items. There's a number of ways to use that program and pull reports that would be useful for your district. But this is where we decided to put this item add process because it has all of your history there, and it's just a good way to do a quick search and make sure that the item that you're requesting is not actually already in the warehouse and you just didn't realize it, or maybe something very similar. But especially for those items that you want to put on bid that you're already buying maybe, or other people are buying, the details are out there. So I will, stop me at any point, by the way, too, if you have any questions. But I'm going to log us on to HPSCAT so that you can follow along with me. So how many of you already have a login to HPSCAT and have been on here, would know how to get on? A few, some of you, not all of you. Okay, so I wanted to take you first to this page, and this is the login page, but if you did not have a login, you would start by clicking there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So this versus HPS used to like give you a username and a password, but the trend these days is you will remember it better if it's something you set up and set up your own password request. We ask for the basics, your email, your name, whatever your requested username is. It could be your email if you want, and the password. The name of your member is your school district, and then your member number. If you don't have that, we will look it up, because all of you as food service directors would be in our system, our database. So if they get a request and you didn't know your member number, it's okay. Okay. Your zip code, your phone number. Of course, you have to agree to the privacy stuff here, and then you just request a login. That sends your form over to our office, and they verify that you are in fact an HPS member, and they will activate your login information. Okay. But now I will go over, and I am logged in. I'm just gonna refresh this anew, because see, I had logged myself out on the other page, so I'm gonna change this session. Is it okay if I emulate your district, Susan Jenkins? Okay. You wouldn't have to do this part. Because I go into various members, I'm able to emulate different members, but when you log in, it would be on your own district's page, okay? Of course, CAT does a lot of things. I'll give you just a quick overview, so that if you are interested, if you've never used it before, you can utilize more than just what I'm going to highlight today. But you can look at your spend by category. I really like this one. You can click through on any of these sections, whether it be the beverage or the frozen, and say, what am I buying in the poultry category, for example. And I'm a little colorblind, but I think this one is the poultry, right? If I click through, it will open up another window, and it will show me what I have purchased during the time frame that I highlighted there in that poultry category. Okay, and you can do that with any category. Over here, this widget is really widely used. This is just kind of help you see what you're buying that is on bid. Everything in green is on the HPS bid. Susan's doing phenomenal. She's 95.3% buying on bid items, and I'm sure you probably have some catering or some booster. Do you have any of that that would be not? Okay.
It's mostly, usually the off program is fruits and vegetables.
Okay, gotcha. But you can click through here and see what she's buying on program or off program. On any of these widgets, I can change this to, I want to change it to year-to-date, previous calendar, fiscal year-to-date. The HPS fiscal year rolls with your school year, July 1 through June 30th. So if you want to just look at a snapshot of this school year, you can just change that and all the widgets will update, okay? And up here, you know, for this savings amount will show your rebates, but because we're in a new school year, July 1, Susan hasn't received, none of us have received any school rebates yet. Those will come out in December. So that won't reflect, you know, what you're earning in the way of rebates yet. Again here, just quickly, if Susan wanted to look at what she's buying that is off program, you can click through, and she's right. There's a lot of fruits and vegetables there. but she could analyze any of those to see if there was an on-program item that she was interested in, okay? Just out of curiosity, her top 10 items are there. She can look at spend by vendor. This can be important if you're looking for some support at your school district and you want to, some of your vendors don't really realize how they stack up compared to other vendors that you purchase from. And it's kind of a strong message to call, Tyson or Aunt Millie's and say, hey, did you know that you're one of my top 10 vendors? And I'm having this event and I could, really use some support. Maybe they just need to show up if you're doing a tasting or if you're doing some special event at your school and they can provide support in some way, okay? But this is visibility you have, like I said, that they may not have. Order count just shows that you get Thursday deliveries.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I have some different widgets on here than others may, but there's also a budgets widget, and you can let me look for edit dashboard, this one right here. These are all of the widgets that I can add that may not be on there. So, if you want to compare vendors or you want to bring over some budgeting tools here, I have budget versus spend year to date. You can build budgets in this too. So it's a pretty powerful tool. You can use it as simply or as advanced as you want. So I'm going to say finish editing up here in this corner, and I'm going to go back to and just keep it the way I have it. The reports tab over here on the left is where you would run some reports based on your data in certain time frames. One of the ones, of course, everybody likes to run like top 200 items or top 100 items off program or something like, or it wouldn't be that many probably, but maybe top 50 off program just to analyze that. People love those reports, but one that I like to really point you to is if you have a manufacturer that's running a program. Have you used it for this, Susan? Like, let's say they're offering a rebate and it's got a funny date range, and they want to see your usage during that date range to see how much you qualify or whether you met the qualifications of the rebate program. You can run a report in here and send that over to them, and it's not like a past 30 days. It can be September 15th through October 10th, if that's their promo range. So you can look for the manufacturer in the drop-down menu and create a report like that. It's called Vendor Velocity by Date Range, and I'll just show you what so you would just use this drop-down menu here to select from the long list of vendors, and this is only going to be the vendors that Susan buys from. Those are going to be the ones that show up there, and you can pick the one that you need and then select the begin date range and the end date and view the report, and it will pull all that up. So there's lots of fun things to draw you to CAT anyway, okay? But now we're going to talk about this item add process, which we are in the season of. And it's this tab right here, item adds, okay? So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm just going to talk for a minute. Right now what you're seeing are the requests that other people have made, okay, that are pulling from your distribution center. But before you come here, it's good to understand the time frame. We've really worked hard on this process because there's a lot of moving parts. There's commodity entitlement or the request that you would make, the diversion that you would make. There's the show you're getting ready to go to here in early December. So we were trying to time this such that you could go to the food show, be exposed to product, go to your commodity show, be exposed to product. And then make sure that you get all of your item ads in by mid-December, loaded in here. So if it's something you saw at the food show and it's not commodity related, go ahead and add your item request. If it is something that you want to hold off and see the commodities, go there, taste test, and then confirm that yes, that's what you want to add. Load it in the system. They're going to cut it off around mid-December so that they can analyze all the input and all of the possibilities. This is GFS. We'll combine the report and do some group requests by distribution center. But GFS will have to go through the process of determining whether they can bring it in and what kind of movement that they can do to make that happen. That is a corporate and DC level decision based on whatever stressors are going on at the DC and availability that they have. Then they will be responding to you before you have to do your what is that report called? In the February timeframe where you divert your commodities, right? That's and there's a worksheet planner, I think, that Sally uses that will help you with that too. But hopefully this process will flow in a way that you can make decisions in a timely manner so that we can also forecast properly. I should say, I say we, I mean together with our partner over here, forecast properly so they bring in the right quantities for what people have requested. And then by the start of the school year, that will go smoothly. That's our plan. We're trying to streamline all of this. So, any questions so far as I'm going through this? Okay. So what we want to do is put in a request. Well, first I would say look through the list of items that are already requested and see if what you're getting ready to request is already there. I should explain the difference between a new item request and a program request. A new item is something that is not currently stocked at GFS. A program request is something that is stocked, but it's not on bid and you would like it to be. Some examples of that are quite common is like there's, bowl packs of cereal, let's say, and there's all these flavors and you just want the chocolate Cocoa Puffs or something, I don't know. You want to add another type, a SKU that is not, everything else is on bid from that manufacturer in that category, but this item is not for whatever reason. Maybe it's muffins and we've got blueberry and chocolate and you'd like to see strawberry on there too, or yogurts and those kinds of examples. We see quite a bit of that. So the new item request, if I said this correctly, is not currently stocked. And so for that one, you need more information. You're going to need, it's really best if you have some sort of a piece of promo on the item, maybe that you picked up at the food show. It usually has the manufacturer item code, the manufacturer's name, what their description, a good description of the item is, things like that. Program request, since it's already in the warehouse, they're going to have all those things loaded in the system and you'll be able to search for it. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make a request. And I'm going to have to make some stuff up because unless you have something. You know of something? No. Okay. I'm going to make something up. I'm going to call it distributor item code 123456. The manufacturer name is going to be Loco Gems. How about that? The manufacturer part number. Well, actually, the distributor item code, you're only going to have a 6-digit distributor item code if this product is not stocked in your distribution center, but it is stocked somewhere else and you know about that. Because if you can put that 6-digit, that would be GFS item code, okay? If you have that information from Sally that this is something we have in our system, we just don't have it here. She can give you that distributor item code and you can load it and it will pull it even though it's not in your distribution center. The manufacturer part number might be like a 10-digit number. So we'll put in something different, but of course the distributor item code is up there. I'm going to erase that now because it's really going to look for a GFS item code. The description is a, I don't know, a frozen taco, let's say. I'm making some crazy stuff up here. The pack size is, help me out, 20 per case or something. And if I had a data sheet on it, I could, and I had that saved to my computer, I could upload that data sheet. And that would be even more information and more helpful. If there is none, I'm going to go over here and hit next. And we have to, of course, you guys know you pull out of Shepherdsville. So you would want to make sure it's defaulting to that because it knows that Susan pulls out of Shepherdsville. Months of operation, if you were going to order, this product even through the summer feeding, you could leave this at 12. But if this was just a school year cycle menu item, you would want to switch that to what, 10 or 9? And I'll switch it to 9 because it's going to do the math for you. You can put in any of these. Estimated weekly usage, like I'm going to buy 10 cases a week of this, and I would put in cases. It's assuming that since that's what I said the pack size was. So it's estimating your monthly and your yearly usage based on what I put in. If you had done it the other way, it would have calculated everything else. And then any notes here, you might say, this is a conservative estimate or something like that. Or any other feedback that, estimated menu start date. So since we're looking at next school year, you could say, I want to start this with my summer feeding in July if I had put 12 months in there. Or you could say, I'm going to start this when school starts and put the date of school starting. Now, of course, this is an item that's not priced yet. So part of this process is that HPS, we would not only need to get GFS to agree to bring it in, but HPS would have to go seek firm price on the bid. So we'd love to know you've probably had some conversation with the broker, but we'd love to know what you think is a reasonable portion price, because if we can't get there, it wouldn't make sense. If the manufacturer can't get us there, that would not be a high priority item, right? Because this is what you said you could do it for. And of course they want to know commercial or commodity. They want to know who your GFS representative is and who your HPS representative is. And if it's a Buy American item, and is there a broker? If I hit yes on broker, it's going to open up a field for you to fill in that broker information. Of course, I'm not going to go through all this and hit finish because I would put in some dummy item and I don't have the ability to delete it. So, but that is the final screen, and that's all the basic information that you would add. So I'm going to X out of this one without saving, and you can see if I'm going to do. If I do have a distributor item code, that's going to automatically put me into the program request, even if it's not stocked in your distribution center. It just makes it a little different process. So much of the information gets filled in for you here, and you would just put in your quantities that you're helping project. Okay, I'm gonna close out of this one. Now, let's say, in looking at this list, that you can see there's a program request here that you would like to jump in on, like these waffles here. Let's say, yeah, I want some of those too. And you would just come down here and you can see what comments are in there so far. And actually this one has already been processed because this is an item that was stocked and they were already able to get it on the bid. Not nearly as complex of a process. And I'm sure this was done early in the school year. And, you know, the legality of that is that within a certain percentage of our bid items, we can always lower the price. We can't raise the price. Like, of course, everything that's on bid is protected. But if there's something that is pricing off of the formula in the background called price redetermination, that price would get lowered by going on to a firm price. And so we have the ability to do some of that stuff, especially in the beginning, you know, because we don't want to be wishy-washy with the bid. We get criticized by the state if we do that, and they do scrutinize that stuff. So we can't have big material change on our bid, in other words. But here, they were able to firm up the price and make it on bid so that you don't look like you're buying off bid, right? But you can see up here who made that request, and you, if you wanted, could add to the request. So if this one wasn't already processed and it was still pending, you could be another voice to say, yes, I want this too. This is an important item to us. Okay. Similarly, up here for new items, if you were to see one, of course, this particular one here is a commodity item, and Kevin inputted, he must have been doing a little test because, you know, it's not really tied with a school here. And I happen to know that Brian Brower doesn't pull out of Shepherdsville. He's one of our Illinois. You guys don't ship to Illinois?
Downstate we do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess there's a half a chance that could be legit, but Kevin would have put it in. But you can add to this request, and you know, they've put in all that other information, so you don't have to do that. You're just adding the number of months and the number of cases, and it will calculate everything out, and you can add some notes right there. And so it's a pretty simple process. I talked to Rennie just yesterday. Rennie oversees this process. She works in our home office, and she asked her if there was going to be feedback at each stage to the people who put an item request in, just to let you know whether or not it's going to go through, whether you can plan on it. We want to make sure we have good communication circling back to you. And she said yes. Bless you. She said yes, they will be circling back. Hopefully it will be an automated and not a manual process, and you will know as soon as something gets pushed to the next phase, you'll get an automatic email. And that, of course, is tied to your username and everything when you first set that up in here.